Hi everyone, myself Dr. M. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in the Department of Data Science in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video, I am going to discuss about the statistics through R programming. So, very first thing that definition of statistics. So, statistics is referred to the quantitative data. So, should be related to the science of computing, and this statistic should be defined as the collection and presentation, analysis, and interpretation of the data. Okay, so normally the statistics is going to be referred to quantitative data. So normally the data will be of two types. So what I said in previous videos, like qualitative data, and second one is quantitative data. So this statistics is going to be applied only on quantitative data. So what is the statistics means that, so it should be a collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of numerical data. So normally these statistics will be of three types, like descriptive statistics and parametric statistics and then non-parametric statistics. So these are the three types of statistics where we are going to be classified. So descriptive statistics and parametric and non-parametric statistics. So what are the various measures we are going to be on statistics will be. So let me explain that. So we're going to have measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode. So these are the various measures of the statistics. So the data which is going to be deal with only one variable should be treated as a univariate, and the data with the two variables should be treated as bivariate. So some of the measures we can able to be done on this statistics will be measures of central tendency. So measures of central tendency is nothing but these are the numbers. So that is going to be described the middle of the data here. So in that one, so mean is the one thing, and median and then mode. So the mean means, so one kind of measure we're able to measure the statistic, that should be, other name is that average. So how the mean is going to be calculated here is that by adding up of the numbers. So that should be divided by how many are there. Okay, that should be the mean. So we're going to have a sum of numbers. So total the sum of those numbers, so adding up of those numbers and then divided by how many numbers are there, that should be the mean calculation. And second one is that median. So median is that middle number. So for this we're going to be put that numbers in numerical order and find the one in the middle one. So if there is an even number average, the two middle numbers should be the median here. Okay, so we are going to be place the numbers in numerical order and find the one in the middle of those numbers. So if there is an even number average, then the middle of these two numbers should be the median here. And the mode, so the mode is another kind of measure where we are able to measure the statistics. So that should be the number that occur more frequently. So among the list of n numbers, the number that is going to occur more frequently should be treated as a mode here. Uh, so for this, these are the three types of measure. Let me explain the example. Like if I'm going to have a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the list of numbers. So how the mean is going to be calculated. So the sum of all those numbers divided by number, that should be the mean. And median. So what should be the middle of this number, that should be treated as the mean, that should be 3. And the mode, so the most occurring the number that is going to be considered. Suppose we are going to have the data like this. So the number that is the most occurring number, that is 6. So that should be the example of the mode here. So let me explain the example. Suppose if we are going to have a list of numbers like 10, 14, 15, 16, 20, and then 10, 11, 15, 19, 20, and then 10. So how the calculation of the mean here. So first of all, you have to add all those numbers. Then I'm going to get this number 160. So we have to be divide that number with the total number of numbers. So the number of numbers here will be 11. Okay, so this one is going to be divided through 160. So if the then this should be the mean value of that number. And similarly, how the median is going to be calculated. Suppose here this should be the list of n numbers, right? So what I'm going to do is, so we have to be first, all the numbers is going to be arranged in the ascending order. So initial, the minimum number is 10, so that's what I'm going to write here. And next minimum number is 11, and next minimum number is 14, and 15 occurring two times, so that one also I wrote it two times. And next minimum number is 16, 19, and 20, and 20. So among this, what should be the middle of this number is 15, so that should be the median of this number. And mode, so mode means the most, the number that is going to occur more number of times, that is 10 here, so that should be the mode of this number. So like this, we are going to be calculate the mean, median, mode of the statistics. Okay, next one we're going to be see the mean, where the data is going to be spread out and where we can able to be want an average of those values. And the median is the sense where the data contain the outliers. So normally these outliers are the value that don't fit the rest of the data. And the mode, so this means that when the data is going to be tightly clustered around one or two or more values, then I can able to make use of this mode value. So there may be the times where we can able to perform some measures of central tendency will be better describing the data. So when I'm going to apply the mean, median, mode, so for that mean means the when the data is going to be spread out and where when able to calculate the average of those values, then I can able to make use of this mean. And the median means where the data is going to be contained outliers. So normally if I'm going to take a cluster data, suppose this is the data, so the values which are lies outside the cluster should be treated as outlier. That means that, so these are the values where the data does not fit on the rest of the data. And the mode, so here the mode should be where the data is going to be tightly clustered around one or two or more values. So what are the characteristics of these statistics? Maybe so the statistics should be the aggregate of the facts, and these the statistics should be the numerically expressed, where it should be affected to a market extent by the multiplicity of the causes. And this one is reasonably standards of accuracy in enumeration and estimation and collection. And these statistics also be collected in systematic manner, and which should also be collected for a predetermined purpose here. Okay, so these are the some of the characteristics. So where the statistic should be the aggregator of the facts, and these the statistics should be numerically expressed one, and it should be affected to mostly to a market extent by multiplicity of the causes. And reasonably these standards of accuracy should be in enumeration and estimation and collection. And this statistics should also be collected in systematic manner, and then should also be collected for predefined purpose. So some other characteristics will be collection of data, classification, presentation, analysis, and then interpretation of the data. So these are the steps what we are going to be followed in statistics. So very first thing should be that, so collection of the data. So normally we are going to be collected different types of the data, like primary data and then secondary data. So there should be different types of sources are available from primary data, and then secondary data also should be. So some of the examples of this primary data should be that questionnaire, and then conducting interviews. So the data which is going to be performed by the single person directly, that should be treated as the primary one. So the secondary data means where the data is going to be gathered from multiple sources like newspapers and then magazines like this. So these are all will be treated as the secondary data. So once the data what I'm going to be collected, that should be classified into two types, like classification is to be done, and then when that once the classification is done, then we have to be present the data. So by making use of different tools, and then finally I'm going to analyze one. And next we have to be interpretation of the data here. So normally, I told previously this statistic will be of different types of descriptive statistics like that. So here some of the statistical methods also applied. Applied statistics means where there should be of different methods are available, like descriptive methods and then scientific methods. Uh, Make use of those methods, we can able to apply some of the statistics also. So what should be statistics should be a science or art. So that should be that it should be a systemized body of the knowledge. So it is going to be rules and applications are going to be universal, and it should also be establish a relationship between the cause and the effect, and should also be helpful in effective forecasting, and its methods also be in either in order or serial wise, and the large degree of skills and experience is going to be needed, and effective decision on making also need to be performed on statistics. Okay, in order to perform the statistics, we have need some lot of knowledge, and we can also know the rules and applications, which should be according to the universal, and we can also be establish a relationship between the cause and effect, and we should also be helpful in forecasting, and we can also need a large degree of skills and experience also needed for implementing the statistics and for the effective decision making also. So, what should be the scope and importance of the statistics? Should be that it should be useful in bankers, and it should be useful in insurance companies and various other transportation agencies, and it should also be useful in business economics and in planning. So, these are the some of the importance of the statistics in various applications. So, mainly the statistics is going to be applied in bankers and insurance companies, railways and transportation and businesses, and mostly in this application, the statistics plays a vital role. Um, and what are the various functions so we can able to perform the statistics that? So it should be the presentation of the facts if I want to present it, and simplification of complexities that is involved in various applications, and we should also be facilitate the comparison, and we can also facilitating the formulation of policies and widening of human knowledge, and it should also be useful in testing the laws of other sciences, and then facilitating the forecasting and establishment of correlation between the two facts. So these are some of the functions of the statistics where we can able to perform. So that means where mainly, this one is going to be used in the presentation of facts, and then simplification of this complexities that is going to be involved in business applications. Okay, and can also be facilitate the comparison easily by making use of statistic with the other application, and can also be widening of human knowledge, and we should also facilitate the forecasting, and can also establish the correlation between the two facts. So when it comes to limitation, this statistics does not study individuals, and should also be deals with quantitative facts, and it should be useful only true on its averages only, and the statistics may able to lead a persuasive conclusion, and only the experts can make use of the statistics, and homogeneity and uniformity should be must here. So these are some of the limitations what we are going to be followed in statistics. So the statistics does not study individuals, and at the same time, this one is going to be dealing with the quantitative facts only, and it should also be lead some fallacious conclusion sometimes because of some mistakes what were the users is going to be done, and the only experts can make use of the statistics. So a normal person without having some proper knowledge is unable to use the statistics methods and all. And homogeneity and uniformity should also be must here. So let us consider an example like a new internet company is going to have three employees who are going to be paid as $3 lakhs, and who are going to play 10 people are going to play for $1 lakh, and 60 people are going to pay $50,000. So this means where the measures of center tendency represents the best uh, pay at this company I have to do. So for this kind of application, so what kind of measures I have to be done? So for this, whether I have to conduct mean or median and then more. So these are the three measures of central tendency. So based on this application, based on the question what they are asking, you have to be calculate whether mean or mode or median, whatever we decide here. Okay, so a new internet company. The question is that so internet companies have three kinds of employees. Okay, where uh, $3 lakh is going to be paid three employees, and $1 lakh is going to be paid for 10 employees, and $50,000 are going to be paid for 60 employees. So this is the thing. So what is the best measure of central tendency at this company? So for this, what I am going to do? So first, I am going to calculate the mean. So mean is not going to be done. So since there is no, and median should be because there are only few employees, so we can make a large amount of money. I can able to calculate. So and more because this majority of employees make use of the same amount of money, so for that we can able to use more also. And so some of the measures of variance who are going to calculate. So what is the equation for that? And numerical value which is going to be associated with how the spread out the data is. So the suppose the range is that large value minus smallest value, and the variance are unable to call it as a standard deviation. So how can I can able to measure that? So for that we are going to have a equation like standard deviation. So square root of so x1 values and x1, x2, and xn so on xn, where when able to subtract the mean value for each and everything that should be divided by total number of values. So here I'm going to say that the measures of central tendency means here I can able to calculate the range as well as the variance and the standard deviation. So range is that which is going to be subtracted from largest value minus smallest one, that should be the range, and variance is that based on this equation can able to calculate this variance. So it should be the square root of each value minus mean value whole square, and x2 minus x bar, and then so on, xn minus x bar whole square should be divided by n. So in order to find the variance, so what are the steps we are going to be follow? For that, first we have to calculate the mean here, and we have to find the difference between the each data value and the mean value, and the square the difference and add them up, and should be divided by the uh, number of data values. So these are the steps we have to be follow for finding the variance here. So first, suppose if I'm going to have a values like this, so first I have to calculate the mean value and how to find the difference between the mean value. Suppose if I'm going to get some mean value is 5, 5 if I'm going to get that as an example. And so for that, how do I can able to do it? So x1 value minus mean value. So x2 value minus mean value, and 6 minus 5 whole square, it should be divided by n. So like this, we are going to calculate this standard deviation. Suppose for this standard deviation, if I am going to calculate, so then I can able to apply the same concept with the square root value. So see the example like 3, 5, 9 and 11. So for this, what I'm going to do is first I have to calculate the range value. So the how can able to calculate the range value? So among the list of n numbers, so very first highest value, what is the largest value is 11. So and what is the smallest value 3. So that should be 8. So like this, I'm calculate this range, and then standard deviation if I want to find it out. So for that, first I have to calculate the variance. So how the variance is going to be calculated. So for this, the mean I'm going to do. So for that, 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11, that should be divided by 5, so that should be 7. So here what I'm going to do, so once the mean is going to be calculated, so I have to subtract this mean value from each and every uh, data value. So 3 minus 5 whole square, and 5 minus 7 whole square, 7 minus 7, and 9 minus 7, and 11 minus 7 whole square. So once this one is done, then we can able to get this uh, mean value. So once this is going to be calculated, so that should be divided by n, that should be the variance you can able to get. So how the standard deviation will come? So this, if I'm going to apply the square root of this, then I can able to get the standard deviation of this one. So like this, we are going to be calculate the mean, median, mode, and then extra thing is that range, and then standard deviation. So these are the some of the measures or the statistics we have been able to do the problems. So very first thing is that so the main should be how these are going to be make use of this R programming to calculate the mean. So that is the thing. So here the mean is going to be calculated by summing of all the values. So that should be divided by number of values in the data series. So normally the basic syntax of how we're going to calculate the mean in R programming I have to explain now. So for this we are going to have a function, predefined function like mean, and x value comma, then string is the other attribute, and a dot rm value equal to false. So this is the syntax what we're going to be remember for calculating the mean in R programming. So here x, what is x here? So x should be this input vector, and so this should be the input vector of x, and trim is going to be used to drop some of the observation from the both end of this sorted vector. So trim means what I'm going to do is, so by making use of this trim attribute, you can able to drop some of the observations from the both end of this sorted vector. And NA dot trim is another attributes what I'm going to be used to remove the some missing values from the input vector. So it sometimes it may be possible to insert the some of the missing values in the input vector. So at the time by make use of na.rm method attributes, you can able to perform this calculations, and then can able to remove the missing values of this. So let's see example how to calculate the mean here in our programming. So for this, so first we have to be create a vector. So x is the value. So for that, I'm going to create a vector of values like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the vector of values according to this example. So next, I'm going to calculate the mean here. So for this mean, so we are going to have a function like result. So result dot mean means that mean of x. So result dot mean equal to mean of x. So what I'm going to get, so the result dot mean, I'm going to get what is the mean value. So result dot mean. So this is the mean value what I'm getting here. So then I can make use of this string method. I can able to do that. So with the string parameter, if I'm going to supply it, so the values in the vector get sorted, and then the required number of observations are going to be dropped from the calculate the mean. So that is the main trim function. So suppose if I'm going to pass here, I'm going to pass only the x value. Suppose if I'm going to pass a trim value of 0.3, so then I'm able to get the main value should be 5.55. So this is the way of applying the trim value to this function here to calculate the mean in our program. Then how are we going to be calculate the mean by make use of these missing values? So for this, if there are missing values, then the main function is going to be written NA. So for that, so in order to drop this missing value, so I can able to make use of NA dot rm equal to true. So which means that we can able to remove the not available values. Suppose if I'm going to have a vector like this, so x is equal to 1 and 12, 7, 3, 4.8 and not available. So the data is not missing here. So at the time how I'm going to do that. So for that, so I'm going to calculate the mean. So after dropping the and here, so how can I able to do that? So result dot mean. So mean of the function of x comma na dot rm equal to 2. If I write it, so the values is going to be dropped here, and the mean is going to be calculated among these values only. Okay, so that is the purpose of na dot rm. And finally, if I'm going to write result dot mean of x, then output should be result dot na not here is coming. So this kind of errors is going to be get here. And next one is that, so what should be the median? How are we going to calculate the median in our programming? I want to explain it. So for that, so the median means that just now what I said, that should be the most value in the data series. That should be the median, and median of function is going to be used to calculate this value. And what is the syntax for this is that, so median of x comma na dot rm equal to false. So like this I want to do. This is the syntax. Similarly, how the mean is calculated. So here also, x is also an input vector, and na dot rm is another attribute that is going to be used to remove the missing value from the input vector. So just now I said, suppose if the vector is going to have a function like this one, a and not available, 2, 3 and not available like this. So by making use of this and I can able to remove the missing values what I'm getting, and what are the values I'm getting exactly 1, 2, 3. Like this you can able to do. And create a vector, and that is the mean, and then calculate the mean median for this. So median dot result is the attribute value I'm taking here. So median of x is the function. I can able to get the median dot result equal to 5. And if I'm going to remove these NA not applicable values, then I can able to use NA dot. And last one is that mode. So how the mode is going to be calculated. So normal, just now I said that the mode should be the highest number of occurrences of set of the data, and the mode can have been numeric and then character data as well. So the or does not going to be have a standard input function to calculate the mode. So what I'm going to do is I can able to create a function to calculate the mode of the data set in our. So for that. So there should be in R programming there should not be no predefined function. No predefined function is going to be available for calculate the mode. So for that I'm going to write and user defined function like this. So how can I able to write in R programming? So for that get mode equal to function of v, and unique of v is equal to, I'm going to assign unique function. Unique v is the variable. I'm going to make use of this unique function, and for applying this, so I can able to write, so which dot max of tablet, and then match of v comma unique v. So like this is the function. So mode means, so the most number of number that is going to be repeated, that should be calculated the mode, right? So for that what I'm going to do, so first of all how to match this value what is there in this one, and then we tabulate that function and calculate the maximum function. So maximum of among all these numbers I'm going to be find it out. So what should be the most number of time that is going to be occurring here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 is 4 times, and 1, 2, 3. So 1 is 3 times, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 2 should be 1 time, and 5 should be 2 times. So like this I'm going to be uh, calculate the mean here, uh, mean of mean mode. So what is the most number of times that is occurring? So that is 2 comma 3. So in order to do this, so what I'm going to do that is, for calculating the mode using the user function, so I'm going to assign the get mode of v. So for this get mode of v, if I'm going to write, so the result should be 2 is going to be get. So for similarly, if I'm going to create a vector of characters, suppose how the mode is going to be calculated. So similarly, here I'm going to take a variable with characters, and then uh, C of function is the vector, which is going to be a vector of characters. So among this, I want to find it out the character which is going to be occurred more number of times. So in order to calculate the mode here, so for this result equal to get mode of characters is the function is going to be asked. So for this, what is which is going to be repeated more number of times, IT characters. So that should be the result of this. In order to do this, what I'm going to do, so you can able to calculate the mode for this of numbers as well, and then I can also calculate the mode for characters also. So which is going to be more number of times, that should be the mode here. Next one is standard deviation. So standard deviation is going to measure the amount of dispersion and variation of set of values. So where it is going to be used when I'm going to be dealing with values, I'm can able to find the difference between the values and the mean. So for that is going to have an equation like this. So standard deviation is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n, which should be of xi values minus x bar whole square divided by number of 1. If I'm going to apply the square root, that should be the standard deviation calculation. So here S should be the standard deviation, and should be the number of observations, so what I took earlier, and xi should be the observed value of the sample item. So and x bar is the mean value of this observation. So by making use of this equation, I can calculate the standard deviation, and explain also in previous slide how we're going to calculate the standard deviation as well. And suppose if I'm going to take a values like this, so I see 4, 8, 9, 4, 7, 5, 2, 3. So for this, what I'm going to first of all, I have to calculate the mean value. Then in our programming, we are going to have a function like SD. So SD is for standard deviation of those values. So for this, I can able to get the output should be like this. So for this, what is the first step? So first one, we have to calculate the mean value. So how the mean value is going to calculate? So the sum of all the values divided by total number of values. So like 3, 6, 8. So this is the mean value. So once the mean is going to be calculated, so according to the equation, so how this one is going to be calculated. So let me calculate the mean value should be some 5 like this. So what should be the second step? We have to calculate the each value. So each observed value and the mean value is going to be subtracted and then whole square. So 8 minus 1 whole square, and then 9 minus 1 whole square, 4 minus 5, 7 minus 5, 5 minus 5 whole square, 2 minus 5, and then 3 minus 5 whole square divided by number of values. So in the third step, so what I'm going to do, so if I'm going to apply that should be x, then we have to apply the standard deviation square root of x. So that should be the standard deviation value. Let's suppose 2.4. Like this, I'm going to be calculate the standard deviation. Okay, so these are the ways how we're going to be calculate the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, and then the statistics. So these measures of central tendency are very important in calculating the mean. So especially in this statistics, how the R programming is going to be incorporated. That is the thing. So for this, what we are going to do. So first, in order to calculate the mean, we have to be need a basic syntax for implementing the R programming. So for that, what is the syntax for this? We are going to have a function. So main function here. In this one, x should be the vector and trim. So trim is going to be used to drop the sum of the observations, and end dot rm is going to be used to, in order to remove the missing values what I'm going to be used. So you should take I explained the example also. So take a list of vector and calculate the mean, and then by making use of the mean function I can able to get it out. Suppose if I'm going to apply some trim, some more observation is going to be dropped, then I can able to make use of trim here. And similarly, if I want to remove the unavailable values or not available values, then I can make use of this na.rm method, which is going to be set true. Then only the missing values is going to be removed here. And similarly, for calculating the median, so we're going to have a function like median. So here, median function. So here also I can able to make use of na.rm, which is going to be remove this missing values among the function. And mode. So for this mode, there is no predefined function. For this, we're going to write an user-defined function. So for this, we can able to make use of unique function. So by making use of unique function and then max function, I can able to calculate the maximum number of values that is going to be reached among the list of n values. I can able to find it out. And so for this calculation of this mode can also be applied in characters, and the standard deviation is the thing which is going to be used by using this formula, the square root of x minus x bar, that should be mean bar by n minus 1 value. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.